With the obvious success of Scream 2, we get the first of two conclusions so far within the Scream franchise, with Scream 3 released in 2000. While Sydney and her friends visit the Hollywood set of Stab 3, the third film based on the Woodsboro murders, another Ghostface killer rises to terrorize them. Starting with the directing, as always, of course, there's no denying that Wes Craven truly is the master of horror, in my opinion. I don't think there is any other master of horror. And as for Scream 3 goes, though, I will have to say it is my least favorite entry in the Scream franchise. That being said, I do find quite a bit of enjoyment from this film. And moving on to the cast and the characters, I think the cast itself is fine. Everybody plays their parts well and they do well with the material that they're given, but overall I feel like this group of characters specifically is the most unlikable group of characters in the entire Scream franchise. I do enjoy the introduction of characters like Jennifer Jolie and Mark Kincaid, but other than that, all of the other new introductions are either forgettable or unlikable. As for the story, I will have to say it is my least favorite element of this film. Not that it's bad, but it did just truly need a few more rewrites. And I'm not talking rewrites on the spot like they were dealing with. This just needed a few more concrete drafts before they even went into production. I do like the idea of the Stab set being explored, and I do like the direction that they take Sydney's character, although she's not in the film very much. Also, I don't care what people say, I do really enjoy Sydney's hallucinations or visions of her mother, Maureen Prescott. But by far my least favorite element of this story is obviously the fact that Roman Bridger is revealed to be Sydney's brother. I actually would have been fine if Roman were a killer director that just so happened to take up the mantle of Ghostface, but tying him in as a relative, a direct, Sydney's brother, it just does not work for me. No matter when I watch this film, it's never worked for me, and I don't think that's going to change. Moving on to the visuals, I feel like the film overall looks good, but they just really underutilized the Stab set. The fact that they're making Stab 3, they should have explored those sets way more than they actually did. And as for everything else, it really is the most uninteresting looking film in this franchise. Moving on to the score, honestly, I have no complaints here. That's just because we once again have Marco Beltrami composing this film's score, and he just always seems to get things right. Moving on to the final thoughts and spoilers for Scream 3. Scream 3 is by far my least favorite film in the franchise, but like I said earlier, I do find some enjoyment from this film. And compared to most other third entries into other horror franchises, this film by far blows those other films out of the water. It just is a way better third entry into most horror franchises, if that makes sense. At the end of the day, I don't love Scream 3 like I do all of the other entries into the franchise, but I do have some fun when I rewatch it. It is by far the film I've watched the least in the franchise. I've seen this film, I think 3, 4, maybe 5 times at the max, and honestly, that's pretty good for right now. But those are my thoughts on Scream 3. You can check out my reviews for Scream 1, Scream 2, as well as Scream 4 and Scream 5 leading up to the release of Scream 6. I cannot wait for Scream 6. That early fan event is going to be so awesome, and I can't wait to show you guys my experience. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Carter, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.